I'm Anthony from Learning to Play the Guitar. In this video, I'm going to discuss what are 1-4-5 chords and why should you care about them. So if you hang around with musicians long enough, you'll eventually hear them start talking about these 1-4-5 chords and you're wondering, what are they? You might have heard of A, D and E and G and C and other chords like that, but what are these chords with numbers behind them, and what do those numbers actually mean? So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about how these numbers work and how you can use them to work out chords and keys in other songs as we go along, and how to transpose and move from one key to another if you find that a singer needs to be in a different key to sing the song well. So starting off here, we're going to talk a bit about theory, which is what we're on about today. First off, we need to look at where these numbers come from. So the 1-4-5 numbers actually come out of steps of the major scale. So all music, whether you're looking at Mozart to Metallica, is based around this concept of the major scale in Western music. So if we have something simple such as the C major scale here, which is comprised of these notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and you'll eventually get to C again. These can also be numbered, so we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so that sort of makes sense, numbers going up the scale. And so the idea that so much music is built off this scale and varied from that, that the numbers become the center of everything in music. So with each of these notes coming out of a major scale, we can also construct chords on top of them. So a basic chord is called a triad, where we might have the root, which is C, and now we're going to stick some numbers into this. The third note of the scale is E, that's called the third of the chord, and the fifth note of the scale is G. So we have a little C chord here with a C, E and a G, and this can be also labeled as 1, 3, 5, so it's called a triad because it's 3 notes. So if we stick with that formula of doing a root, third and a fifth, building chords as we move up the scale of, say, C major, as we are for the moment, so all the notes will be out of C major, there won't be any sort of strange sharps or flat notes, which we'll get to shortly. We're going to end up with chords that will sound like this. So we're going to have C major triad, we might have a D minor triad, which is DFA, E minor triad, which is EGB, F major triad for this chord, which is FAC, a G major triad, which is GBD, A minor triad, which is ACE, and then the final one, we have a B, what's called a B diminished triad, BDF, and all these notes will be out of the C major scale. And so obviously we now have a bunch of major and minor chords you just heard, and these can also be labeled now with numbers. So we could have one chord, which is C, D is number 2, E minor is number 3, F major number 4, number 5 is a G major, A minor is a 6 chord, and the B diminished triad is a 7 chord. So now with these numbers, we have built up a bunch of chords, labeling them as they go through the scale. And so a lot of songs are actually just built around what's called the 1, 4 and 5 chords. So in this case, in the key of C, we have C. I'll revert to more conventional chord shapes for F, which is 4 chord, and G, which is the 5 chord. And so we have a lot of C, F, G songs based around these 3 basic chords. And the reason why these chords fit together so well is that the G has a special function where it will tend to want to go back to the 1 chord, which is C in this case. So the 1 to the 5 to the 1 is a really strong cadence, as I might call it in a classical sense. And you would have heard songs that sound like that as well. And so that's called the tonic C, the dominant 5 chord, back to the tonic. The F chord, in this case, which is the 4 chord, is called a subdominant, which also has a similar function as the 5 chord, but it's not as strong, but it's very compatible with the C chord. So the tonic 1, C, 4 chord, subdominant F, back to the tonic 1, C. Versus the CGC with the 1, 5, 1. So you can hear how compatible all those chords sound together. So now we have an idea of how these 1, 4 and 5 chords work together. We can use this knowledge of the 1, 4, 5 to transpose to different keys. And the idea of a key is to change a combination of chords higher and lower in pitch to suit a different mood or a different instrument, or usually for a singer, like a female singer might have a higher voice than a male might have a lower voice, and you want to move the song to a key that will suit their voice the best. For example, 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, let's move that to 1, 4, 5 in the key of G. The 1, 4, 5 in the key of G is G is 1, C is 4, D is 5. And go back home to G. And so then, just like we did with the C major scale, we can construct chords off the notes of a G major scale. And one of the things we're going to watch out for here is the key signature. So in G major, when we play the scale, which will be G, A, B, C, D, E, when we get to F, it's actually going to be F sharp, which is fret 2 on the first string here, and 3G. So if we didn't play the F sharp, the scale would sound a bit different. Normal F, or F natural, sounds a bit strange versus with the F sharp. The idea of this F sharp now in the sheet music here is showing you that whenever we play F in the key of G, we should play an F sharp note. So as a result, we end up playing D major, because it has F sharp in it down the bottom, not D minor. So a quick example of that would be if we had G, D, G, that's the 1, 5, 1. Sounds quite strong. If we change that D to D minor, sounds a bit different. It sounds a little bit weird. Like, it's not completely strange, but it doesn't connect as well as a D major does. And so where's the sharp actually come from? If we're dealing with a major scale, there's basically a whole lot of steps or intervals between the notes which make up the formula of a major scale, whatever key you might be in. So basically there are two intervals that are used to make up a major scale. The first is a whole tone or a whole step, which is 2 frets apart. The second is a half step or a semitone or a half tone, which is 1 step or 1 fret up. So if we had C major, C, whole tone D, whole tone to E, half tone to F, whole tone to G, whole tone to A, whole tone to B, semitone or half tone to C. Does that make sense? It sounds like a major scale. So if we then transfer that over to G, so we've got open G, A is the whole tone, B is the whole tone, the half tone is C, whole tone D, whole tone to E. Now we need another whole tone here in the formula, which means we've got to go to this fret, which on fret 11 here is an F sharp, and then a half tone to G. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And so that's where that sharp's coming from to fit the formula. So the opposite of a sharp is a flat. So if we had F major, just for a quick comparison, we'd have to put a B flat in to make it fit this combination. So we've got F, G, A, B flat, that's the half step, C, D, E, F. F to G is a whole, half, whole, half. And so the next leading question you might have in your mind is why a sharp or why a flat? Why not call that note a sharp or a flat and vice versa, because they can be labelled that way. So the short answer is, if we had a scale G major, with the F sharp in it, we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. We don't want to have G flat G, because then we've got 2 G's, it's too confusing. So you want to tick off all the letters of the alphabet, and you don't want to have 2 G's in this case, so we're going to have E, F sharp, G. So when we play F major, the same thing will apply, but we're going to go F, G, A, B flat, which is fret 3 here, instead of going F, G, A sharp, because then we've got 2 A's, and then what happened to B, it gets a bit confusing. So depending on the key signature, you'll see the B flat symbol, in this case for F major, or the F sharp symbol for G major, and other key signatures will be either a combination of sharps or flats, depending on what note we're starting on. And this is all done to fit the formula of whole, half, whole, half steps, or intervals within the scale. So then transposing, we've talked about a little bit, but now getting into the nitty gritty of it. So for example, if we had Wild Thing, very simple song, which is just A, D, E, D, A, round and round. So that was in the key of A. 1, 4, 5, 1. Let's say that's too high for my voice, so I want to move it down to G. Fairly simple. It's using the same magic shapes for the bar chords, which makes everything much easier. I've got 1, 4, 5, 1. Which of course is G, C, D, G. So here I have a table which will pop up showing you the 1, 4, 5 chords for most common keys of C, D, E, F, G, A and B. Songs that are 1, 4, 5 songs that you would have heard of include Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival, which is basically 1, 4, 5 in the key of D, using D, G and A chords, which is 1, 4, 5. La Bamba by Richie Valens is 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, 1, 4, 5, C, F, G, Summertime Blues by Eddie Cochran is in the key of E, which is going to be E, A, B, 1, 4, 5. Steal My Kisses, Ben Harper in the key of G, 1, 4, 5. And of course we did Wild Thing before in the key of A, D, E, which is 1, 4, 5. So now you have an idea of what 1, 4, 5 chords are. You know how to transpose between different keys, and you can also use this knowledge to write your own songs based around a key signature. Subscribe to the Learning to Play the Guitar YouTube channel for more lessons, and don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications when I upload a new video. You can also check out my books and more guitar lessons at learningtoplaytheguitar.net. Thanks for watching and keep practicing.